my love. This is going to be your spirit guide session. So I have some decks up on the table. Let me light my candle. For the session, I'm going to pull intuitively and just kind of see what comes through for you. I definitely feel the block. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue with doing the reading for you today because I was literally feeling blocked right now. And I was like starting to step into this weird mood. But I also knew I was going to be reading for you. And so I'm feeling like that is part of the reading. Like, I feel like the mood that I'm in and the way I'm feeling is connected to the messages that you're going to be hearing in your reading. As much as that sounds crazy, I guess. I don't even know if that even sounds crazy, but I'm going to roll with it. Okay? So usually like I wouldn't read if I'm feeling this way, but I'm going to roll with it because I don't feel like these are my own moods. At least I don't think so. So. Alright. Oh, I love the way my spray. It's sage spray. And this, actually I sprayed this one. But my sage spray smells good too. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get myself pumped and ready. Okay. Okay, my love. So your question, how can I work on or surpass blocks that are preventing me from finding my inner peace and higher self? I love your question. I feel like it was beautifully crafted. I feel like your question came from your heart. And I definitely am feeling that block for you. So I just think we're going to gather a lot of stuff. Okay. All right. Let's see what your guides have to say. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing with your spirit guides, there's a male and a female around you, but there's also the energy of a bird, okay? So I'm seeing like a bird's eye view of a bird flying over the scenery. So I feel like one of your guides I feel like that's symbolic, that they watch you. Ooh, we have justice. They watch you from above, kind of like seeing what your next move is going to be before you even make the next move. Okay. That's how I'm seeing that. I also feel like the perspective of your path, the perspective of your life, your choices, everything that you make, is you're constantly looking ahead and you're not paying attention to the present moment. That's how I'm feeling is what's happening here with you. Like constantly, it's almost like you're preparing yourself for something that hasn't happened yet versus allowing yourself to go through the moments and to really enjoy the vibration of the present. We have dreams. Divinity. I also feel like your spirit guides, the male and female, they sit on either side of you. And I'm really feeling like it's just an embodiment of your feminine and your masculine energy that you withhold. And it just comes out in spirit guide form. Spirit came through. So the divinity, spirit, and then your dreams. Your purpose, okay, I'm not here to tell you what your life purpose is. That's not the kind of reading that I do. But I am here to say that your purpose is driven by the divine, and it's happening with divine timing. I'm also seeing the eyes are popping up in your cards, which is opening up your eyes, is what I'm feeling. And also the fact that I was seeing the bird's eye view of the whole, like your whole world from the perspective of an animal flying in the air with eyes, okay? Still to me is saying like you have to, even though you are looking further out into the future and looking and preparing for what even hasn't happened yet, you still are being called to open your eyes right now to the present. The divinity card this is to me God energy, but it's also divine timing. So things that you want to have happen, things that you were waiting for to have happen that have not yet transpired, it's because it's divine timing. We can't force certain things or certain people to come into our lives and step into our world if we're not ready for them. And so I feel like for you, it's almost like you have to be patient. It's almost like a personal, like it's almost like your spirit guides are there to tell you that you need to be patient with the things that you're asking for, because you're not quite ready to have that happen just yet. There's something that needs to take place within you, around you, in order to set the stage for that next phase. The dreams that are coming up is telling me that you have a lot of ideas, a lot of plans, wishes, hopes, that sometimes remain in the dream state. And the fact that you're feeling blocked is kind of showing that a lot of these things remain dreams with you. The energy of the Justice card coming up for the energy of this reading is kind of making me feel like this justice is in reversed. The lack of balance within yourself, okay? The sacral chakra just came up in reversed. And the sacral chakra is the energy of creation, okay? Your passions. So what I'm seeing here when it comes to, the life purpose and your internal healing points, if that even makes sense, you're passionate about it, but not passionate enough, okay? Leading and following your heart is a big thing for you. But I feel like it's something that you don't do enough of, okay? So your heart guides you and tells you what it wants and where it wants to go. But at the same time, you're not listening to it, okay? I feel like it's almost like you could have people telling you or guiding you and to show you the direction to go, but you're still like kind of being stubborn in a way and going your own way. I feel like to me, I feel like I'm so semi-disconnected to what I'm saying to you, because I feel like I'm channeling what your guides want you to hear. So if it kind of sounds a little bit jumbled, I feel like that's why. I feel like I'm really channeling what they want to say. It's almost like they want to scold you, okay? And they're kind of telling you, like, you've been told many times the direction to take your life, but for some reason you're not physically doing it. And you're not following your heart, and you're feeling the repercussions of that. A lot of times when we're not following our life purpose and we don't follow our heart, we feel it physically. Like the fact that you're feeling blocked physically is one symptom. Other symptoms is just feeling completely uncomfortable every day, unhappy every day, feeling like you're hitting blocks and just lots of toxicities in and out every single day. Because you're not following what you're being guided to do in life. Standing your ground is also coming up in reverse for you, which is telling me that you've lost a lot of confidence in yourself with this whole thing. Feeling blocked and allowing yourself to not follow a path that you know is right for you. You're stepping into the territory of being, really self-conscious about yourself and your choices that you make in this life. You're not speaking up, you're not standing firm for what you truly believe in. The shadow card is coming up upright, which is telling me that this is a time for you to really be facing a lot of these inner fears, a lot of these shadow moments for yourself. It is a very uncomfortable feeling with the shadow, okay? Because who wants to face their fears head on, right? We tend to push our fears off to the side. We tend to not want to deal with it. And this shadow card is coming up saying this is it. This is why these blocks are happening. You are being forced to face the shadow aspects. And that's almost like that's how you're going to set yourself free. Funny how that flew. Funny how that flew out when I was talking about it. The Six of Swords is all about you are leaving a toxic, turbulent, stressful, unhappy situations in search of serenity, in search of calmness, in search of peace, okay? So you are feeling it, but it's almost like it's saying you can't go to peace just yet. You have to deal with some of this stuff, okay? You got to deal with some of this stuff. Let's look and see what is some of that stuff. What is it? Let's pull from a different tarot deck. Five of Swords. What is the stuff that you got to face? What is the shadow? So I'm feeling mom energy. I don't know if your mom has a lot to do with the past situations that you've been dealing with, some of the shadow aspects, some of the fears, the stresses, the toxicities, but for some reason I'm hearing mom energy. The Seven of Pentacles is coming up in reverse. I don't read reversals, but I feel like this deck, yeah, it's mixed up. So I'm going to go with it. For some reason, I usually don't read reversals, but for some reason they're coming up like this. So I'm going to read it like that for you. Page of Cups, so a message. A Page of Cups to me, coming up for what the shadow is, a message. This is a conversation. This is somebody saying something to you. You heard something. These could be secrets. These could be, you know, verbiage, whether it was abusive verbally or just stuff you heard or listened to, or the way you communicated with people in the past as a young person, as a young version of yourself, right? This is also the shadow, is the need to readdress those things and to face it head on, okay? To face those topics. This could also very well be having to have a conversation with that person that is the source of this shadow, okay? And like I said, I was feeling mom energy, so your mom might have something to do with it. But it could also be other people too, but for some reason I just kept hearing mom. The Five of Swords is a lot of conflict with fighting. It's a lot of conflict with backstabbing, people talking behind your back, a lot of gossip, that kind of thing. It's also like the weather we see in the sword suit is very like turbulent. It's very windy and whatnot. So I take that to show like just a lot of uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable connections with people in your past. Probably had a lot of toxic relationships or friendships in that sense. And it did a number on you, really. I mean, I feel like it's caused you to not trust certain people. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles that came up in reverse. Seven of Pentacles is about boredom, you know, being bored with what you have. And the reversal of it is really finding that desire to finally change it around. You want to find a passion. Sacral chakra in reverse. You want to be passionate again about the things that you once loved, okay? Things that you once loved, interests that you had, certain relationships with people. Like for example, if this has to do with somewhat with your mother, maybe you need to step forward and have this conversation with your mom or reconnect with your mom in some way. But maybe it's like the setbacks of the past, the way maybe you two just didn't have a really healthy relationship at one point. But now that maybe there's been a span of years in between that, maybe now you guys can figure out, you know, a way to connect. So that's kind of what I'm seeing that with. But what I feel like this is like the shadow is a lot of, it's a lot of communication. It's a lot of facing people who maybe were manipulative or like a lot of gossip and stuff in the past with you. and dealing with that kind of stuff. And that's not always the most comfortable. We don't always want to address. We don't always want to face things, okay? I'm just going to say it. Like, I mean, we have a fear. I have a fear of that too. Like, it's not always comfortable to have to face people that we've always been running away from, you know? But sometimes it's necessary so you can move forward. So let's pull more on that. Let's pull more on, like, I want to make sure I answer your initial question. How can I work on or surpass blockages that are preventing me from finding my inner peace? So how can we work through this now that we've identified that you need to face your shadow? What I want you to do from this reading, like your homework, is, write a list when you're focusing on your shadow aspects. What is a part of your shadow, right? What are areas of your life, fears, setbacks, what are things that you would constantly be like wiping under the rug, sweeping under the rug, or hiding in the closet because you don't want to deal with it, right? Those are your shadows. Make a list of it. Maybe you just have one. Maybe you have more than one. Maybe some of them are memories and some of them are people. Whatever the case may be, you want to identify it. And then you kind of see maybe a pattern. You'll see a connection with, if it's certain people, you'll see a connection. Oh, they're all love relationships. So maybe your shadow you're dealing with has to do with your relationships, like how you love and how you allow yourself to be loved. Or maybe they're memories and their childhood stuff. So then you realize, oh, a lot of my shadow, a lot of my fears stem from my childhood. So there's a lot of childhood healing that has to take place. This is a process, though. Just because we identify this right now does not mean that it's going to be over. It's like this is something that sometimes it takes years to heal from, because we just have so many layers, right? Layers upon layers of shadow. And so the Tower card, I pulled the Tower card for you right now. The Tower card is the initial having to break down, okay? We need to break down the walls. You need to break down the barriers. So how can you do this? First card is the Tower. Break it down. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. You got to allow yourself, you got to break yourself down. Take down those walls of protection. Take down the blocks. Maybe you blocked certain people, right, on social media, so you don't have to talk to them or whatever. Maybe in your case, if it is reconnecting with certain people, maybe that first initial move you'd have to make is obviously unblocking those accounts so that you have access to talking to them, okay? Whatever the case may be, the Tower card is usually not a very comfortable card to deal with. It usually signifies something is there's like the foundation is shaking within our world and it crumbles, right? There's usually something that has to break in order for us to start to rebuild a stronger building or a stronger foundation, a stronger version of ourselves, a stronger outer process of ourselves. Like, I don't even know how to say it. I hope you know what I mean. But whatever the case is, the first thing you need to do is break down, okay? Break it down, whatever it is, whoever it is, or literally unblocking accounts, okay? The Ten of Pentacles is community. So this is coming together. This could be reunions, okay? This could be, so if this is people in your life, maybe this is meaning, having to go back in time and literally like look back on past gatherings, if this was family members or friends, and really relive those memories, okay? The Ten of Pentacles is also, like I said, it's also abundance of some sort, okay? It might be once you break down the walls, the whole flood of it is going to come through. So you're going to have to learn to process it. I see this as like chaos and a mess, right? All these pentacles all over the place. So maybe this is saying you would have to, once you break down the walls, everything is going to start flying through. Then you're going to have to go through and organize by priority, which one needs to be tended to first versus what can I like save for another day. I don't want you to deal with all of the shadow stuff right off the bat. You know, it's a lot. It's going to be a lot. It's going to take a lot of time. So you can't expect this to be like a quick fix, you know. And then the Queen of Swords is coming up, which is all about communication, okay? She's all about the upper hand. She usually has control when she's speaking. People will listen to her when she's talking. But she's also very much a leader role, okay? So people look up to her. That she's guiding people. And then Queen of Swords energy is also from truth and honor. So you're being guided to speak from your heart. Be honest. And even if you're doing confessions, if you're confessing things that maybe you once did and you're not proud of, you're seeking forgiveness or whatnot, but you need to take control of that conversation, and be the bigger person. I feel is ultimately what you're being guided to do, is be the bigger person. When you know, we always want to say we're right, but sometimes we also have to admit our wrongs. And if you were wrong in a situation, maybe that's what that is saying, is it's important for you to, you know, embrace that and find forgiveness in that way. We don't always have to be right. We have observe. I love that. So I feel like observe is kind of saying to really just sometimes sometimes you can't be always the person speaking. So maybe once you open dialogue with whoever this is, then you're being called to observe the situation. Listen to them when they're talking. Observe it from their perspective, not yours. We have duality. So duality is kind of like you're at odds with yourself, right? That could be you know, being at odds with, I don't want to be wrong, but I know I am wrong. So you're just going to have to find a peaceful medium with yourself. It kind of goes hand in hand with that justice card that I pulled for you, because justice is all about being balanced and being truthful. So maybe that's what you struggle with, right? It's an ego thing. And then we have anxiety, and the anxiety card is representing that, yeah, this will bring a lot. It's going to bring a lot of anxiety to you. Your mental state will be probably all over the place. You're going to be nervous and whatnot, but that's natural. That's natural. And you also have to keep in mind, you're doing a good thing. You're doing a good thing by stepping forward and being the bigger person and starting the conversation, because for whatever reason, it's beating you up inside. So it's time to let it out. And then that healing process can begin, you know, and then you can start that. So I feel like your guides are just kind of, I feel like they're just putting it out there for you, is like, they're just saying, eventually you're going to get tired of being at odds with yourself. You're going to get tired fighting against it. You're being called, you're being guided to do this. This has been a long time coming. And so they're just putting it out there for you. It's just saying, well, the longer you put your back to it, the harder it's going to be for you to move forward. And they're kind of being very strict, or they're being very like straightforward. Like, this is what it is. There's no other way around it. So I hope that helps you. I hope it kind of clears up some feelings that you have, you know, some stuff that you're going through. And I just hope that it helps you have a clearer mind. But whatever the case may be, the very first step for this process is definitely breaking down those walls, unblocking those people. Slowly though, you don't need to do all of them all at once. If there's multiples, you know what I mean? Slowly break down these little areas of yourself. Do not feel like you have to do it all in one big, huge wave, you know, it's a process. But I think you need to, if there are multiple people or multiple memories, you have to start prioritizing which one is the first one you're going to tackle, and then work down the list. Okay. So I send you all of my love, and I hope that this helps you, and I hope that it frees you, and I hope it unblocks you, because I was feeling it really, really hard with you. And I feel like I was feeling it earlier with the unblocking, like the previous reading I did for you. So there is something there, my love, and I feel like it's been wanting to come out, you know, you've been wanting to kind of, you know what it is, and you've been wanting to deal with it. It's just, you got to face those fears. And once you start it, you're going to be like, wow, I wish I would have done this a long time ago. So set yourself free, my love. You owe it to yourself. And I send you all of my love and support. And I just hope that you are able to do this one step at a time. And my loves, anyone who wants to book a spirit guide reading, these are available on my website. So you can click the link below, check it out. And until then, I will talk to you guys later. Bye, my loves.